My life begins in India. Let's start with Saint Mother Teresa. Saint Mother Teresa was born in Yugoslavia. She was a nun. She was transferred to India, Loreto Convent in Calcutta. And she was transferred there, and she was a teacher for 20 years. During that time, she saw so much suffering in India, especially in 1947 when India won the independence and the British left. And there was so much chaos between the Hindu and the Muslim. They were fighting each other and a lot of bloodshed. And Mother would look out the window and felt such compassion for the people of India. And when she saw that, Mother Superior took notice of her and said, maybe this is overwhelming you with all this that's happening around you. Why can't you take a trip to go on a retreat? And so she went on a train to Darjeeling. And while she got off the train, she saw this man over there, this poor man, and called out to Mother Teresa, come, I thirst, I thirst. And Mother Teresa saw Jesus in that man and said, I thirst. And that's when she had a call within a call. You know, when I say a call within a call, she was already a nun, but Jesus was calling her to be out with the poor. She said, Jesus told her, you will find me in the poor. And so she told a story to a superior at the convent. I have to help the poor people. The superior said, no, that's not a place. It's too dangerous out there. She prayed, and her prayers were finally answered. Rome accepted it. And that's when the missionary of charity started. The bishop heard about that of Bombay. The bishop heard about it and said, Mother, why can you come in Bombay? We have poor people in Bombay, India too, in Baikala. And so Mother came to Baikala. Well, while she was walking in the street, taking care of all the poor people, she came across this little baby laying there all by himself, starving, probably thin, crying. And that little baby was me. And Mother went down, Mother Teresa herself went down and picked me up. And she looked. She must have smiled to me or wiggled with me or talked to me. She probably felt my skinny bones. She probably seen my ribs, that I was starving. She probably knew that I was on death row, that if she did not pick me up, I would have died. And here she picked me up, and she took care of me and took me into the nursery, in St. Joseph Nursery in Baikala, India. And there she baptized me and gave me the name Patrick, and that's what I got the name Patrick today. After age 5, they transferred me to the big boys' orphanage in Bombay. It's called Our Lady's Home. It was dedicated to Our Lady of Fatima. They dedicated an orphanage to Our Lady, and so now we belong to our Blessed Mother. It's the only mother I knew. So Mass was said every day, and the rosaries were prayed every evening together. We didn't have a lot at that time, in the 1960s, early 1960s. So we depend on charity, whatever people can give. There were days we didn't have any food. We had to go hungry. Not everybody had cot at the orphanage. I slept on the floor Sometimes we would go to the apartment right across the orphanage, and those people knew that we would come and look. There was something to play with. And while we were there looking, we went with a group of boys and we were looking for money or anything. And here, I came across of a piece of paper. It says, it was so dirty, and it says USA on it. And I thought, I sure would like to go there. So I brought it to the orphanage and I said, Father, look what I found. He says, oh, forget it. You're wasting your time. Don't worry about it. So I kept it that maybe some days I'll pray that the Lord would take me to America, because Father said it's in America. And I remember there was also a war between India and Pakistan. And the siren was going off, and it was in the late 1960s. And I can see the jets were coming very low. And they said to turn the lights off, and if we turned the lights on, we would be bombed, so we were frightened. And we can hear this loud noise, and then all of a sudden, I saw the stars and the moon, and I looked to the Lord and I said, God, forget about the war. Look how beautiful your world is. You know what he said to me? I'm going to bring you to one of the greatest nations on this earth. The priest told me there's a family in Connecticut, Fairfield, Connecticut, would like to adopt you. And so all the boys said to me you're so lucky to go to America. Bring sweets for me and candies. And don't forget us, Pat. And I wish they can all come. They would have a family in America. And when I first came to America, I saw my new mom and dad. They were Irish, by the way. And so they came, and I saw the tall buildings in New York. And I saw the people from all over the world. And I said, wow, God's hands got to be in this great country. And I said, look how blessed they are to have food, clothing, shelter, and most of all, their faith. What more can they ask? And I remembered they took me to the house. My father was the judge, Judge John Henry Norton. He adopted 5, 2 from India, 2 from Vietnam, 1 from Hong Kong, and he had 9 of his own. And it was such kind, wonderful family that I grew up with. And I remember the first meal I had was spaghetti. And I remember sitting there and they said, are you hungry? And I said, sure. And they put it on my plate and I said, wow, I thought my food was bad and they eat worms here. And then they said, would you like some sauce? I said, wow, they squeezed the flesh out of it too. And anyway, today, spaghetti is my favorite meal. My dad died at that time, and I was going through that sorrowful time. And so my mother said, Pat, why can't you take a trip to Medjugorje, where our Blessed Mother's been appearing in Yugoslavia? So I decided to go there. So while I was drinking water at the water fountain at St. James Church in Yugoslavia, I heard this audible voice, and I turned around and I said, hey, you sound American. And she looked at me and she said, I didn't say anything. And I said, well, so then I believe it was Our Lady who may have made me turn around and introduced me to this woman. And her name at that time was Sandy Schindler. And I asked her, I said, where are you from? She said, I'm from America. I'm from Holdingford, Minnesota. I said, I'm from Connecticut. And so we kept in touch. We wrote letters, and finally she said, well, Pat, if you want to make your move, come to Minnesota. And so I did. So when I moved to Minnesota, I got to know the family of my wife, and you know, I'm starting a new life here, and I was looking for work, and so anyway, then I ended up becoming a painter, and I painted for over at that time 25 years. You know, people were talking about when St. Mother Teresa was going to be canonized as saint soon. That was in 2016. And anyway, they said, Pat, are you going to St. Mother Teresa's cause or whatever? And I said, well, I don't have the money to go to Rome, you know, it's very expensive. And so during Mass, I was at some weekday Mass here in Way Park, Minnesota. And I was there, and this priest just asked, if anybody needs anything, just go stand up and ask our Lord for anything. So I waited till my turn came, and I stood up and I said, Lord, I would like to go to St. Mother Teresa's canonization in Rome. And everybody turned around and looked at me. They thought, oh, it would be nice for him to go. And so the first week went by, everybody came up to me, Pat, did anybody? I said, no. Then all of a sudden, the second week, the Missionary of Charity Sisters from Missouri, Kansas called me. Could you believe they called my house and they said, is this Pat Norton? I said, yes. We got you a ticket to go to Rome for Mother Teresa's canonization. I said, wow. And he said, everything is all taken care of, the hotels, everything for your whole family to go. And you know, many times people have told me, Pat, was it the hands of St. Mother Teresa that picked you up on the street of Bombay? I told them, yes. So then I said, Lord, give me a sign. Was it the hands of St. Mother Teresa that picked me up? And I remember that day when I'm ready to go to Rome and we got there. And all of a sudden, this nun, right through the crowd, came and tapped me. She was from the Missionary of Charity, because I can tell by the veil she wore. And she said, you and your family, come. And she said, go there, but there's no line there. And I asked Sandy, did you see her where she went? They don't have no idea. She wasn't there. And so we took a direction, and then the security guard came up like this and said, come. And we had the front row. We didn't have to stay in line like the rest of the people, I thought. And then I went like this. I said, oh, Mother Teresa, it was you. You gave me a sign. So halfway during the Mass of her canonization, there was a big poster of St. Mother Teresa up in Rome. It was right above the altar. And I looked up there and I said, Mother, I was hungry and you gave me to eat. I was thirsty, Mother, and you gave me to drink. Mother, I was abandoned and you held me in your arms. Mother, you lived the gospel very well. May we all live the gospel for Jesus. I really think Mother Teresa played a big role, even after she left this world. I think she's still interceding for me and for all of us, that saints can do great things for us. Even while they're gone, they can do greater things in heaven for people on earth like us. That's why they're called saints. That's why we have saints in the church. You know, God doesn't want big things from us. He just wants just the little things. He's impressed. God is bigger than all of this. So let us be just simple. And I always tell people, if you want to touch the heart of God, just be simple.